Welcome back. Some good news for all the gold prospectors out there. Grab your shovel and your pick and your pan because it seems there's still plenty of gold in them bar hills. Just this week, you may have seen in the papers, a battling prospector in Western Australia discovered gold, enough of it to sign a deal worth for him $170 million. And it only took him 25 years to find it. Never mind, it'll be worth it. My next guest has a few hints on how you can strike it rich. He has some fascinating facts on gold. So you please welcome gold mine manager Malcolm Drinkwater. Welcome. I guess we shouldn't ignore the obvious, but is that obviously a replica of the biggest nugget ever found?
Well, there is a difference between a nugget and a specimen. Right. Alluvial gold is water-worn. Large versions of it are nuggets. Reef gold is inside quartz. Large versions are specimens. Correctly, the Welcome Stranger is the world's largest known nugget. That was 71.01 kilos or 2,284 ounces. This piece of gold represents gold intact inside a glass case, the glass being quartz. Its gold content was 3,000 ounces or 93.2 kilos. And if people put a pile of gold down and one pile's bigger than the other, you take the bigger one. This is the bigger one.
Yeah. Now, the one you got there on the table, what's that one?
Most big gold bits are photographed, they're looked at for a little bit, and then they're crushed and melted. This bit is a replica. It has been restored or in its original state by the Earth Exchange in Sydney. The Earth Exchange have the original. They have a lot of other pieces that are very similar to it. This one, as far as we know, it's the biggest bit that hasn't been crushed and melted down. This bit's the biggest bit I've got, which is a lot smaller, unfortunately. That's about $2,000 worth.
Is it really?
Gold is generally reported by the media at prices everywhere else in the world except here. Here, a few minutes ago, I was quoted $545 an ounce. So when you're looking at 3 3/4 ounces, you're looking at $2,000 worth. And of course, a lot of people don't comprehend an ounce. That is 1 ounce. In metric terms, 31.103 grams. So you're looking at the size of two $2 coins, but something that's also extremely heavy. And that's how we find it.
Why the fascination? I mean, it's valuable, but it's always through history. Wars have started over it. Prospectors have killed for it. Cowboys have held up stagecoaches. Is it because of it, the look of it as well as the value, that we're enamoured with the gold, the colour, the glitter?
I think it's human nature. Things become habit. After a while, that habit becomes instinct. I don't think we can help ourselves. Instinctively, the first civilizations asked, why are we on the earth? Their reason was, well, we must have been made by something. That something must be God. The sun looked like a good God, and then they found something that looked like the sun. And when they started to dig up that something which was gold, they found it was easy to work. Then it became worth something because they realised it was immortal. And the whole thing sort of gathered from there.
Is it true that if you're out prospecting, and even back in the old days, we've got these great looking setup here, that you actually kept chooks for a reason, and that because they would pick up the gold and you'd then kill the chook and get the gold?
I suppose we should.
Sounds crazy.
I suppose we should go back one step further. A lot of people say they do things under the effects of alcohol. A lot of people do things under the effect of gold. Gold is a mind-altering metal, and all the best stories are about gold fields because there's nothing better than fiction. It sort of surpasses fact. Fact is, though, chooks and birds of that nature that rely on pecking material from the ground are going to peck up gold, and because of gold's own weight, it can get caught in their digestive system, which means rather than farming chooks to find gold, you can find chooks in a gold field, and when you kill them, curiosity will get the better of you. You've got to cut the giblets open and have a look. And quite often in a gold field, you'll find that they've collected gold over their time out on the surface.
And I suppose the same with emus?
Oh yes, any bird that uses the pecking on a surface to pick up grain or its food.
What amazed me, and I hope I got the figure right, but something like, in all of recorded history, only something like 100,000 tonnes of gold has ever been found.
Well, I suppose our history is only as good as we can record. From all the resources that I've had available to me, it's believed that 99% of all the gold ever found can still be recorded for, and if that was to be placed in one mass, the mass would be just a fraction less than 15 metres square. But people don't understand that mass as a weight. Now, as a weight, it's far greater. I mean, gold is nearly twice the weight of lead.
Well, speaking of gold, let's go and do a bit of panning for some here. I'm going to see how good we get at this. Just keep showing some of these gadgets down here.
No worries. Gold originates in quartz. The miners used to use this to see if quartz contained gold. Right. So they'd crush it and then still put it into the gold pan. Of course, that is a mercury bottle. Would you care to feel that?
Jeez.
It's only 200 pounds. It's not full, but they made very handy dolly pots.
What's that, 200 pounds? Glad you warned me. Okay.
Right, now, we've cheated slightly. There's one dish for you, and there's one for me.
I hope you're like my mother at the Christmas time. You put a sixpence in here, you know. Right,
well,
what do we do?
May as well. Now, the idea is you can get gold in any gold field because most people are looking for big bits. They're not looking for little bits, and most gold is little bits. And to separate it, you use water. Gold's heavy, the gravel's light. If you can imagine putting lead in a gold pan and saying, righto, let's just swill it around and let the lead fall to the bottom. And if there's anything sticky in there, dissolve it. Now, when you've got everything moved around and you're confident that the gold's gone to the bottom, then you tilt the dish forward. You don't tip it out. There's a junction point where the flat bottom of the dish hits the angled side. That's a trough. In that trough, you want to keep the gold and you want to let the lighter material float out over the top. Now, I've seen a lot of people in my area get to that stage and say, where's the gold? And of course, they don't see any. And as a result of that, they leave disheartened. They say there's no gold here. Where a good miner or prospector always keeps beside him a poverty pot. That's a little jam tin. When he gets back to this stage, he turns the dish around, gets the gold caught at one corner of the dish right where he wants it, so that the rest of the material runs away. The gold stays on the top edge. When that gold's on the top edge, he flicks it into the poverty pot and goes and gets another gold pan.
Easy for you to say, I find nothing.
It's a practice art. A lot of people do it differently. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get the gold. If I show you the gold, then you can have a go of getting it. There we are, it's on the top edge. Fine particles, just
oh, yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Just.
What you do is you've got to give it enough action to cause the gravel to move, but the gold not. You allow the water to intercept and say, right, it's time for you to stop and it's time for the gold to be exposed.
I was hoping for a bigger bit.
There it is, there, if we can get a shot just in front of my finger. That's the way it looks. It doesn't look that big. That's rare. That's why all the big bits are photographed and made a fuss over. And it does take a long time. It's a bit like gambling.
How much have you got over the years?
Over the year, well, for one mining company that I won't talk about, I amassed 100 ounces over 3 months. But a lot of that gold isn't used for the right purposes. A lot of people find the stock exchange dollar is the best one to mine. And now I use a misspent youth to make a living. Now my main income comes from using my information to educate the young.
That's good, okay. That's fascinating. Would you please thank our gold mine manager, Malcolm Drinkwater.